checking out R&B Reviews. I'm Rob, and Despicable Me 2 was released a couple of weeks ago and has stayed at the #1 spot at the top of the box office. The first film came out back in 2010 and it also did pretty well, but I gave that film a rented on DVD rating when it first came out because I felt like that film was just a little bit too frenetic in the first half, trying to cram all kinds of gags into it, although the second half, although familiar, I thought was much better. So what is my take on this new sequel? Well, personally, I think it's a very rare instance where the sequel is much better than the first film. One of the improvements I thought was the pacing. Despicable Me 2 was constantly on the move, and there was neither a moment that drags or moves too rapidly, and the gags are very neatly tied to the storyline and the tempo of the film very well. It was just constantly on the move. I thought there was a lot more gags with Gru's minions in this film, and most of them are very hilarious. They're pretty good. I thought they were probably one of the best parts of the first film, and I think they're definitely one of the best parts of this one. And I also think that the story here is much better, with Gru being asked to track down a world criminal, and he's paired with this female agent that he just doesn't really like at first. Now, I've seen a lot of animated films where they work pretty well for a kid's audience, but sometimes I feel like they might be just a little bit too hard for adult audiences to sit through. I don't think you will have a problem with this film because it rotates between visual and verbal gags that kids will enjoy, and there's always something for the adults that will definitely go over their kids' heads. Most of all, this film has situations that I think the audience can relate to, and one of them, one of Gru's adopted girls starts to date boys, which makes him pretty nervous, and I think the audiences will not have a problem caring about the characters here. But most of all, I thought Despicable Me 2 was loads of fun. I really didn't want the movie to end, and I don't use this term very often, but I thought this film was kind of cute. So Despicable Me 2, I thought was, for me, I think this is probably one of the best animated films this summer. I thought it was a big improvement over the first film. It had better story, better pacing, loads of gags coming at you at a pretty quick pace, and I also had a very great time at the theater. So if you have not seen Despicable Me 2, I definitely recommend checking this movie out in theaters. Alright, well that's my take on Despicable Me 2. If you've seen the movie yourself, go ahead and post your comments, or if you have any feedback on the channel or the video, go ahead and post them, and if you haven't done so already, please consider being a subscriber to R&B Reviews. Thanks very much for watching.